Hello, Mr. Grass. How are you?
Good morning, David. I'm very well, thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, my knee is still bad, but don't worry about it. I'm getting along, But apart from that, I'm fine. Now, you and Mrs. Grass had a lovely weekend, didn't you?
We did. We had our son's wedding for the weekend.
Excellent.
And the sun shone. Everybody was happy.
Good.
Talked to people. And the 30 of us were allowed to talk without being socially distanced.
Ooh. And where did this take place? It was in a lovely village in Devon, I believe.
A lovely village in Devon called Cheriton Bishop.
Cheriton Bishop. What a lovely name for a place. It sounds very Miss Marple to me.
Oh, yeah. I'm not sure there are many crimes committed there, though.
Good.
I hope, anyway. Maybe I just don't find out about them.
Good. And the new Mr. and Mrs. Grass, have they gone on honeymoon, or are they reserving it for later?
I think they're reserving honeymoon for later. I suspect they were sleeping yesterday. They haven't really got any plans. I know they're not working this week, so they've actually got this week off as well.
Good.
Which is a good thing. So, yes, and as one of my friends said, that's now the 7th member of the Grask family in this country.
So, did you make a personal attempt to populate the country with Grasks?
Well, we've got to 7. From the one that arrived on these shores back in 1944 as a prisoner of war.
He's done well. The man needs a medal. The man needs a medal, and you need one. And I'm sure your son will help with the increase in Grasks.
Oh, I suspect. I hope so. Time will tell.
Are there any more male Grasks to get married that could help with that job, or is he the only one?
No, there's another son.
Good.
Who knows what will happen with him?
Absolutely. I think you ought to make it an imperative on them to get busy, because you need to get this number up a bit more.
Oh, I don't know. There's something quite unique about it only being a few.
That's very true. Now, your father comes from where? I want you to say Latvia, but I know it isn't.
No, it was Germany.
Germany.
It was the nearest town was a town called Cottbus. It's about 40 minutes drive southeast of Berlin.
Yes.
And about 4 or 5 miles from the Polish border.
Know the area a bit. I went there. I once took a youth exchange from the Diocese of Lichfield out to Berlin.
Right.
Which was very good. And we met with the Lutheran church out there, which was very nice.
Yeah.
And they took us on all kinds of little tours, which was great. Right, well, you've got a meeting in a short while, and I've got 2 funerals this morning, one at 12 and one at 2:30. So we're going to get a slightly different take on this week's gospel reading, aren't we?
We are. Should we have our pause and then do a reading?
We'll go for the pause. Let's go for the pause. Thank you.
So our reading today is from Mark chapter 4, beginning at verse 35, and it just says, Jesus stills a storm. But I know we're on about episode 70-something of Rev Chat. I thought I'd do one of my favourite stories about Jesus calming a storm, and it comes from this book, The Mouse's Tale, by Nick Butterworth and Mick Inkpen.
I'm sure you're going to really please Reverend Neil, who sadly couldn't be with us today because of organising our diaries properly. But it's one of her favourite stories is the stilling of the storm.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, there we go. Hello, I'm a mouse, a ship's mouse, and this is my house. I can do this with a camera.
Marvellous. Keep going.
It's a fishing boat. Well, in the evening when the fishermen have gone home, that's when I wake up. I come out and I sniff and nibble the fishing nets. Well, the other evening, a strange thing happening. I'm nosing about on the deck as usual when suddenly there's a noise. Quick as a flash, I hide behind some old ropes. Listen. There are footsteps. The fishermen have come back. I twitch my whiskers and sniff the air. There's someone with them. I can hear the fishermen untying the boat. Splish, splash. I can feel them pushing it out into the waves. The wind catches the sail, the mast creaks, the boat rocks gently, and we're heading out to sea. It's been a long day, says a voice I don't know. I think I'll get some sleep. Where are we going? We're not going fishing. It's too late for fishing. Where are we going? We're taking the man with the voice I don't know for a ride in our boat. The man sits down right next to me and he leans his head on my ropes. His hair smells warm. He's not a fisherman. Everything is quiet except for the waves slapping under the boat. Soon the man is asleep. I want a better look at him. I creep out from under the ropes, all clear. The man looks very tired. He has a kind face and he snores. His breath tickles my whiskers. He can ride in our boat if he likes. I wonder what his name is. Then suddenly, flash, bang, I'm off and running. Flash, bang, lightning and thunder. I scamper up the deck and down my hole. Flash, bang, we're in for a rough ride. These summer storms can be nasty. Now the great black clouds close in. The sky grows dark. Big drops of rain begin to splatter on the deck. The sail flaps and bangs and gulps the wind. The storm whips spray across the deck and giant waves slam the boat. The boat begins to roll and slide. One moment up, next moment down, up and down. Water crashing on the deck and pouring on my head. And all the while flash, bang, lightning and thunder. And all the while slap, crack, the wind tatters our sails. And all the while the man sleeps on and snores. Wake up, we're going to sink. Wake up, we're going to drown. Wake up, we're going down. Jesus, wake up. So that's his name. Slowly the man opens his eyes. He blinks and rubs his face and looks around. And holding on the mast, he stands up straight. Then stretching out his hand, he shouts into the wind. His voice is firm and strong and very, very loud. Peace, he shouts. Be still. And straight away, the storm does what he tells it to. The wind dies down, the thunder stops, the sea is calm and all is still. Can you believe it? The wind, the lightning, the thunder, the waves and the rain all stop. What kind of man is that? The setting sun peeps out behind a cloud. The men get out the oars to row us home. I shake the water from my paws and ears and settle down to sleep. So pull the oars, we'll soon be home to tell the tale. And that man Jesus, if he wants to, he can sail with us again. So the end of that official Bible reading just says, who then is this that even the wind and the sea obey him?
Today's edition of Jack and Ori was read by Reverend Chris Grask.
Yeah, but sometimes, even as grown-ups, it's great to read stories like that, isn't it?
I loved it, and I love the pictures. It is such a vivid story whatever version we use, because that wasn't untrue to the biblical passage, of course. Yeah, it's about the awesome and majestic power of God, isn't it?
Oh, you have. I mean, it's controlling the wind, the waves, the sea, all those things we can't control.
Mm.
And each one individually is really strong and powerful.
Yeah, absolutely.
They all obey. I mean, what sort of demonstration of the awesomeness of God do we need? Or proof that Jesus is of God from out of this world?
Mm.
We talk about these out-of-body experiences. Well, that's an out-of-this-world experience.
It is. It is. And, I think we have to recognise that in nature, because it is about, again, for me, there's also an element of the naturalness, the nature of the world in which we live, that there are things that happen that we have no control over, and that's partly... I think what that story is with the disciples themselves in the boat, the fishermen, whatever, they had no answer themselves, did they? They couldn't control. Yeah, the mouse told us we're in for a heavy time. Crash, bang, wallop, etc.
Crash, bang, wallop. I mean, the whole disciples, all they can hope to do, and all the fishermen can hope to do in that boat, is to weather the storm.
To hold on, hang in there.
Hang in there, hold on, get the boat ready, put it into the waves or whatever. Jesus doesn't even teach them how to hold on. Jesus just says, I'm in charge of the whole storm.
Mm.
You're managing the boat in the storm. I'm just controlling the whole storm.
I remember on the pilgrimage to the Holy Land that I was privileged to go on, must be 7 or 8 years ago now, I guess. With the day we went on Lake Galilee, we were told that the storms can just come from nowhere.
Yeah.
From nowhere, because it's such a large lake, an open lake as well, I guess. And you sit there and you look around and you think, well, if a storm came, what chance would you have in the middle of the lake? And that must be what the disciples, the fishermen, were thinking of at that moment.
And also, remember, these are fishermen.
Mm.
So they're on that lake every day.
Mm.
They know how to handle the boat. They know what to do in a storm. So they're not novices. I mean, if anything, as a fisherman, Jesus was the novice. I do find it weird, though, why he slept in the middle of a storm. I mean, I don't think I could sleep when the boat's going up and down like that.
Mm. I guess as a part of the not being worried, is that, I can take the action required to bring it all safely back to a normality of some sort.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, there's always little bits and pieces of these Bible stories we're never quite sure of, isn't there?
Yeah, I think looking at the situation we are at the moment, again with this pandemic, the one thing that we've learned is that we don't have any power whatsoever in reality over what's going on. Just when we think we've calmed the storm, the next round of crash, bang, wallop emerges, doesn't it? And despite the brilliance of scientists across the world and the wonderful medical interventions from the NHS and staff, etc., in reality we still don't have the control that we long for. So for another 4 weeks, we've got conditions placed upon us, which we all understand and we all know about, but it proves that we don't have that same awesome power over nature that Jesus, God, does have. Sorry.
It's very good at bringing it around to modern themes.
Well, you brought it round to such a wonderful modern way of telling the story with one which I guess is a book you've treasured for years and probably used in lots of school assemblies, I would think.
I have, and my children probably heard it, so they got bored of it.
Mm. Did you not take it to the wedding with you just to remind them? You could have stood up at the speech, the dad's speech.
The dad's speech.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I didn't take it to the wedding.
Oh, that's a shame. Next time.
I used a slightly different dad joke at the wedding.
Yes, you were telling me. As we bring everything to an end, or start to sum up. Do you want to tell the dear viewer the dad joke that you tried to embarrass your son with?
Yeah, unfortunately, he was too nervous to even realise I was telling a joke. But it was a joke that came courtesy of Philip Ringer, actually. And it just shows, did you remember, I remember all 16 of Richard's previous girlfriends. 4 better, 4 worse, 4 richer, 4 poorer.
There is no answer to that. I should have to have words with Philip Ringer. Philip Ringer is the chaplain to Bridport Hospital and a very supportive retired clergy member of our area. So that's who Philip is. Yeah, there we are. So, in all things, remember, with God we are safe. He's in control. Maybe not us, but He gives us the gifts and the abilities to bring about things that are required at the time they're required. We just have to hang in there like the disciples, and we also have to hang in there like the little mouse who went down his hole quite sensibly at that time. I like the picture of him sitting on Jesus' chest having a quick sniff to make sure he was okay. I thought that was a lovely picture.
That was a lovely picture, wasn't it? But you're right. Like you say, we've got Jesus in control of things. We use our skill, our knowledge to get through the storms that we can.
Yeah.
Knowing that ultimately God's in charge of all the storms.
Absolutely. A still small voice of calm. Who
then is this that even the wind and the sea obey him?
If you'd like to write an answer to that, we'd be happy to receive it. And theses of no more than 20,000 words will be received by Reverend Grask for marking in time for next week's Rev Chat. Then Reverend Neary and the three of us will try and do our very best to get our diaries together and write, and all three of us hopefully will appear together next week.
Brilliant. I hope so.
Good.
I hope so.
Well, we mustn't forget, you can follow us in the Beaminster Team on everything at Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and et cetera. And you can follow the North Porton to...
Ask as well. The Benefice of Eggardon Colmers on the Benefice of Eggardon Colmers Facebook page and Eggardon Colmers Church's website.
Lovely. Chris, it's been an absolute pleasure. I'm pleased you had a lovely weekend. And it was lovely to see Mrs. Gask in the background very early on this morning. And I'll see you again very, very soon.
All right, brilliant. Thank you, David.
Thanks, Bye. Bye.